Yes, hello wine drinking people. Today is Friday, May 7th. This is the night I've been looking forward to all week. We're taking down the cult wines from California this evening, folks. Screaming Eagle, Harlan, Colgan, and the 74 Heights Marthas. You'll have to hear me talk about it tomorrow on what I drank yesterday, but that's it. Sorry to tease you guys again. Today, what have we got to sell you today? Well, you should have heard by now that 2007 is a phenomenal vintage in the Southern Rhone, as the wine god Robert Parker Jr. has said. One of the greatest vintages he has reviewed in the 32 years he's been traveling to this region. So I have kept my promise. I've got another 2007 Chateauneuf du Pape on the docket today. Domaine Giraud. And this wine, 2007, needs a little time. Most of these wines, this is one of the best wines that I've had in terms of drinking today. Most of them you want to set aside for 10, 15 years. This one you definitely can, but it is drinking beautiful white right now, this lovely deep purple color. It's got beautiful notes of charcoal, black raspberries, cherries, licorice, very exotic, garrigue, floral, and herbal notes you get out of Chateauneuf du Papes, and lovely concentration. But the tannins are kind of soft and smooth on this wine. That's why drinking very nice at the moment. Brilliant enologist Philip Camby is making this wine, and it's completely restructured this estate, which is relatively new. It started out in 1998, and the kids have taken over since Philippe the father passed away in 2003, and they've converted all of the farming over to biodynamics, organic farming, and a little bit of history about Chateauneuf du Pape. This is an area that's got a long history of making great wine. Alphonse Daudet, the French wine writer, called this the wine of kings and the king of wines. This is actually, the wines of this region have been, like I said, hundreds of years, go back to when 1309, when French Cardinal was elected Pope, Clement V. And because there was so much strife between France and Italy during this time, the Pope decided to stay in France. And the Pope was the Bishop of Bordeaux, so before he moved there, he had a history of growing wine. He had a property known as Pape Clement, a very famous property in Pessac, and he was interested in cultivating wines, but established right around the area of Avignon, which was his new town. But it was really Clement's successor, Pope John the 22nd, that was the first one that did extensive plantings in this area and vineyards. And this was a very affluent time in Avignon. Many parties were thrown and much wine was drunk. Believe that. Although wine has been grown surrounding villages for 150 years, it was the papacy that spread the fame of wine from this area. So in the 20s, the growers of Chateauneuf du Pape decided they were concerned about because this area was so famous, all these foreign wines being sold as Chateauneuf du Pape, and this is actually the area that they classified first in France, and all of the other appellations and systems in France were created based on this classification, as well as the Spanish and the Italian system was created after these laws. So although these laws have been in place for many years, you still had a big problem up until just recently, probably 20 years ago, with wines being sold as Chateauneuf du Pape that were actually not actually from the town of Chateauneuf du Pape. So we would only recommend wines from estate bottle wines, and the problem was a lot of these wines were not bottled in Chateauneuf du Pape. You were allowed to bottle it outside of the appellation in the old days. All of this has changed today. There's an explosion of small producers like this Domaine Giraud. Check it out. I've also included on this offer every 2007 that we have still in the store. So that is what I've got to sell you today. Check it out. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.